Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
A very warm welcome in the third module of week 4 of the course Roadmap for Patent Creation titled IP Audit Framework. We have gone through the IP identification tool and patentability tool in the earlier modules. Now, in this module, we will learn about the IP audit framework. In week 1 module 4, we have received a primitive idea about IP audit, and we have learned that IP audit is a systematic review of all intellectual properties and IP related agreements which are owned or acquired by the corporation or individual or anyone. We have also understood that IP audit helps in assessing and managing risks and helps in implementing best practices for all the processes which are involved in IP management. Now, in this module, we will try to map the IP owned by an organization or maybe individual. So, you can apply this to yourself also. So, let us start. Suppose you wish to do the IP audit of your research project. So, consider the project you are working on it, or consider the research problem you are solving now, or you can consider any past project or research work you have already completed. Then you can take yourself as an entity for whom you want to do a IP audit. The another scenario may be you are a IP head and you want to do the IP audit of your organization, or you are a head of a department in academic institute and you wish to do the IP audit. The another scenario might be you are a MSME and want to do the IP audit. Now, consider any of the examples we have cited now. You can do IP audit using this framework. This is very primitive framework, but it will give you overall idea about IP audit. The report coming, that is whatever generated after this IP audit, that is application of this framework, may give a few insights to you. You may compare the results of application of this framework with the IP audit of one person with another person, one entity with another entity, one department with another entity. So, you can do such kind of comparisons, and this comparison may give idea about improvements if any it is possible, or it may give idea about exploration or to do something new which already you are owning, however not developed or create any IP. So, anything you can do with this framework. The other way to use this is in a self appraisal, you can use it. So, on the basis of IP audit report, you can plan your next activities. So, it is like a for self development you can do the IP audit, or you can use it and modify it to create matrices for quality improvements. So, you can generate matrices depending on the situation in which you are working, and then you can apply it for the improvement in the processes, and then accordingly you can make the change the processes all you are performing for achieving particular objective. You can add or delete the parts in this framework and customize it as per your need. So, this is about how you can explore or use this IP audit. Now, here is that IP audit. We will start to application of this IP audit. So, we will start with a copyright. Everyone creates copyright. You will say how? Anything you write or draw. So, in short, any creative expression you exhibit, it is automatically your copyright. For copyright, you need not to register it. As soon as you create it, it is your copyright provided certain conditions stipulated by law are followed. So, now we will check what possible things you can add in this list. Out of various examples we discussed above, we will apply it to academic institute. So, I have given you the several scenarios when you can apply that IP audit. I am just taking example that okay, you are an academic institute and or one department in the academic institute, and you wish to apply this IP audit framework to your department or to the whole organization. So, now as this framework is designed, keeping in mind this academic institute, copyright of academic institute can be first the conference papers, that may be national or international, research paper publications, again national or international, book or book chapter, then graphic designs if any poster or charts presented in the conferences, monograms published, any white papers if they are produced, then any technical bulletin published, or it may be any education related videos created in the institute or organization, then you can add that number also here. Then any kind of manuals and field guides if you have created, any database if you have created, it may be a student database, it may be a college database, industry database, product database, anything. If something like that, if that data is created, that database is created, you can add up into this list. Then photographs of any technical output in the laboratory. So, any what we can say the chromatogram is generated, a gel chromatograph is there, you have taken the photograph of that. So, you can, that is your copyright. Or any nature of photography, means you have done the nature photography, then that nature photography is that is the copyright of you. Any zoology or botany specific photography if you have done. So, anything like that if you have done, that photographs you can include. Then musical work, it may be created for any event in the college. If it is totally new creative work which is in the what we can say the college functions are there, and in that function if you have participated and you yourself have composed something and you have created something, this is like your own copyright. Then there might be courses, music courses, and then some music related educational videos if you have created. All these things you can include in that musical thing, music under that category. Then any films developed under this in the college events, either drama or any technical process if it is captured in the camera. It is a process going on in the laboratory and you have captured it into the camera. Any event whatever happening in the college or in the institute and you have recorded that thing. So, any film whatever that created, you can list it under copyright. Then sound recording, if anything you have done that, then that can be your copyright. Then anything other than mentioned here and which falls in the category of copyright. So, the subject matter of copyright we have just touched based upon the copyright in one of the modules earlier, and you know what that copyright is and that related rights are there. So, any sculptures, any adapted work, any performance related that performances are there, architecture work is there, design is there, all this the subject matter of copyright is there, and anything under this category if it is there, that is copyright, and if you have created that thing you can list it here. So, this list is not exhaustive, it is an indicative. So, you can add or delete as per requirement. So, as an individual also you can apply this to yourself to check what different copyright you own. As mentioned earlier, you may not have registered, but you know that as soon as you create any subject matter of copyright, without registration you get the right over that. So, this is all about the copyright. So, this list is indicative, you can add up into that and you can make the whole list of what exactly is owned by your institute. Okay. Now, next is a patent. So, what things you can record related to patent? Again, this is a indicative, it is not exhaustive. You can list down the patents you own, that is the first thing. Then you can, so the various categories can be as follows. How many patents, that is a total number of patents. Then categories further as how many PCT applications are there, that is a patent cooperation treaty application. How many US applications are there, how many EPO applications are there. So, anything which is applied in Europe, how many Indian patent applications are there, then any other countries in which you have filed the patent. So, list all that countries and how many patents you have filed in that other countries. Then the next is how many product patents are there, how many process patents are there. We know these two definitions now. So, you can list that thing. How many patents are expired, how many patents are invalidated if any. So, you can add that expired patent, invalidated patents. How many are active patents, how many patents are licensed out, how many patents are in-house commercialized, how many patents are sold, how many patents are still not commercialized, how many are potential patents which can be commercialized, number of patents held in collaboration. So, the list is it's going on. So, you can just add up into the list and make the complete list according to your institute, but this is a indicative list and you can develop this list further. As a product specific, so you can add up product specific patents, then inventor specific patents, then how many patents are granted. So, while keeping all the data related to patent or copyright, you can record the time of filing. That is of course the most important factor. You have to remember that when exactly you have filed it, because with that date only you are going to calculate the life of your copyright or life of your patent. That is, that starting point is important. If possible, you could find out a technology market size related to patent, then it may help you in the commercialization activity. It is a little bit difficult in the starting phase, but that is the one thing. You, if it is possible for you to understand that technology market size, then maybe you can use it effectively in the collaboration and commercialization. Now, a few queries might be raised in your mind. What is that patent expiry? So, patent expiry is patent after 20 years, it goes into public domain, that we call it as a patent is expired. What is invalidation of patent? Invalidation of patent is any patent if you have filed and if it is not, if it is challenged and due to the evidences are produced by in the opposition and or some that in the process if it is it is proved that your patent is not valid, then obviously that patent will be invalidated, it will not be granted. So, something like that if it is there, that is invalidation of patent. In brief I am explaining, we are not going into details of that, but just understand that if it is not a valid claim, then obviously the patent will be invalidated. Then process product patent, that we have already seen. Then what is a EPO? I have explained, that is a European Patent Office. Then what is a active patent? Active patent is patent because it is in a, what we can say that for patent you have to give a maintenance fee. So, every year you have to give the maintenance fee. Unless until you give maintenance fee, your patent will not be active. So, that is what the active patent. If you will not file that, if you will not give that maintenance fee, your patent will not be active. So, that is the active patent. Thus, you can put the data related to patent and then this list is there, you can add up and you can make the exhaustive list based on your understanding about your organization, and it will be useful to you to manage this data. So, this is copyright and then this is a patent. Then the next is a IPR as a trademark, GI and a industrial design. There is a possibility that in academic institute you may create industrial designs. In brief, industrial designs are the designs which are having an industrial application. We are not going in details of that industrial design, but it is one of the IP, we have already seen it in module 3 of week 1. So, there is a possibility that you may have industrial designs. For example, a novel game related design, if you have designed or developed some game, entertainment industry, it goes into the entertainment industry. So, if any game is created, then that game you can get the design, or if car is there, that car design is an industrial design. So, any product designed by a mechanical engineer for that that product, then it can be it can get the industrial design. So, that is the what we can say. You can just list that number of industrial designs already you have filed. Then possibility of GI and trademark is little less in academic institute, but there is in some cases there is a possibility. If that possibility is there and if you have done the that GI registration or a trademark registration, then you can just enlist that trademark data. So, there is a there is a possibility of definite possibility of having number of trademarks rather than GI. Possibility of having trademark is more. We will not go in details of a trademark here, but if you have separate entities in your organization and you are giving that particular name to that entities, and if they are self-operating things, then possibilities that you have that trademark registration you have done, then you can enlist that trademark. GI, again the possibility is there if institute is actively involved in GI registration. It may be dependent on a geographical location. So, if your institute is part of that geographical location, then there is a possibility. Otherwise, GI registration by academic institute is the possibility is very less. If you are in that geographical location and active in that generation of that particular thing, then you can have that GI, but the rare possibility. So, if such GI or industrial designs are registered, then you can mention it here. We will not go further categorization here, but it is possible for you to put various other headings related to trademark and GI. Then the next is agreements and trade secrets. So, there are various agreements which are executed related to IPR, such as MTA, material transfer agreement, licensing contracts, trade secret related contracts, franchisee related contracts, any non-disclosure agreements, work for hire related contracts, technology transfer related agreements, arrangements whatever made through contracts. So, this kind of contracts or agreements may be there. You can have categorization of that. There is a necessary as a that categorization, or if that database of contracts or agreement is there, you can visit that data periodically. So, it may help you to revise it as and when required. So, you can if that possibility if you have is there in your agreement, then you can think of revision of that particular clause as per the change in the scenario. So, this helps you to keep the updated data, and you have to you can update your agreement related things. That agreement and all that thing, it is again the huge subject of the study. Just remember that there will be many contracts and agreements which if the data is available with you, then you can organize it and you can make best use of that. Then trade secret and know-how. This data, it is a confidential data with restricted access to this information. However, this data may be recorded somewhere and that recording is always necessary, but obviously there will be a restriction in the access. So, this is what about the agreement and trade secret. The next is human capital. You can keep data related to human capital as a activity against the who are involved in that particular activity, and then you can categorize it as per your need. So, such data always helps you in effective human resource management. So, you can keep that the activity and the students or professors who are involved in that, and then you can use best of that data. Then the next is a relational capital. This data is very useful in collaborations. It may include a vendor details, funding resources related data, then any collaborations if existing that data, alumni related data and so on. So, all this data and you can add up in the relational capital. There might be the agreements, then trade secret, know-how, relational capital, human capital. So, other than copyright and patent, all this information you can put into the this, it is there in the IP audit framework, you can create a data accordingly. Now, here we are just listing the information related to it. Again, as mentioned earlier, I reiterate, you can customize this list as per applicability to your setup. Then the next one is a IP valuation. You may not be able to do this IP valuation, however, tentatively you can think over this considering the titles mentioned under this category, that is average expected revenue per year, actual revenue generated per year, amount of revenue generated through licensing per year, amount of revenue generated through selling of patent or any IP, amount of revenue generated through in-house application or amount saved through in-house application of any process or product you invented. Then in last I have put 2 points under IP valuation. However, you can put it in a different heading also. These points are as maintenance cost of patent paid every year and initial cost of patent filing. So, this is a very primitive framework you can follow to know the status of IP in your organization. We will just start with ourselves. So, for example, now you know the framework, copyright is there, patent is there, then IPR, other IPRs are there, human capital is there, relational capital is there, agreements are there, then trade secret related information is there, IP valuation related information there, right. So, now we will do the one exercise. So, we will just start with ourselves only. Take a few minutes, take a pen and paper. Now, keep this framework on the screen, that is the complete audit framework. Okay. Now, jot down against each category what you own. Okay. So, how many copyright, that under that category whatever things are you, just jot down that thing. Under patent you think, see if you have any patent right now. Under this other IPR, if anything is there. If you are involved in any activity in the college, you just write down that activity is there, right. Then relational capital, if you have developed any collaborations, then you write down that collaboration related information. So, then after that jot down that thing, and then what is the possibility of generating anything not mentioned. So, based on that you just try out that what is the possibility further I can develop. Then write down that other things you can add up in the list, that okay, this list is limited. So, what other things related to copyright you can add, what other things related to patent you can add. So, just customize that list and just add that things in the in your list. Now, this will give you pretty well idea about the IP you yourself own, and also it will give you idea to plan your activities for say next 6 months or a year. Then again you can apply this framework. So, after 6 months again you can revisit that periodic application will help you to improve your IP portfolio, which you can leverage for gain, which may be monetary or which may be in the form of recognition or in any other form. So, this way you can apply this IP audit framework to yourself. Now, we will see one example of IP audit related video. Just check this video.
Welcome Dinesh. Meet Faisal, our operations manager, and Renu, in charge of technology.
Hello, sir.
Nice to meet you all.
Well Dinesh, our deal with Knox for supplying laptops overseas is doing well, and our domestic market also looks good. But
what?
Well, I am little concerned about managing the intellectual property of the company and feel that it may become an obstacle in my expansion plans.
Just relax. I will help you out. You need to take a close look at your IP assets and check if the existing IPs are being managed properly. You need to conduct an IP audit of your company.
IP audit? What's that? Is it something like financial audit?
Right, Abhishek. You can say that the IP audit is analogous to the financial audit. You are familiar with financial audit, which is carried out to satisfy regulatory requirements, but also takes into account the financial assets of the company, including their status and utilization. Similarly, an IP audit helps a company to reveal the IP strength of a company by taking a stock of its protected IPs in terms of IPR, determining IP which is not yet legally protected, pending actions for securing IPR, and identifying other IP assets. What is IP audit? IP audit is a systematic review of the IP owned, used, or acquired by a business so as to assess and manage risk, remedy problems, and implement best practices in IP asset management. It involves undertaking a comprehensive review of a company's IP assets, related agreements, relevant policies, and compliance procedures.
It seems an interesting concept. Can you explain it a little more?
Sure. I will explain you the other dimensions of IP audit. Why IP audit? IP audit is about understanding the inventory of information relevant to the creation, maintenance, and use of IP rights. It is also a powerful strategic tool for managing and maximizing return on its intellectual property investment. Identifying the origins and value of intellectual property and assuring compliance with obligations relating to licensed assets. The due diligence process associated with mergers and acquisitions, joint ventures, portfolio assessments, spin-offs, strategic alliances, and OEM procurements include IP as an important parameter. An IP audit seeks to uncover unused or underutilized assets, to identify any threats to a company's bottom line, and to enable business managers to devise informed business and IP strategies that help maintain and improve its competitive position in the relevant markets.
How is IPR important for a joint venture or acquisition?
Parties involved in these activities will like to know the IP strength of each other because that is an indication of the future health of the new entity.
That makes sense. What is implied by licensed assets and why are they important?
Good. Understand it this way. You may have taken someone else's design or patent for using in your product under a license agreement. You are required to honor the agreement, and you should be careful that you do not infringe the other person's patent or design or any other IPR.
It means I need to maintain proper records of such contracts and agreements.
Well said.
Can I utilize the audit results to determine if any IP asset generated in the company has missed the attention for its legal protection?
Certainly. Again, to put a few things in perspective, you must remember, intellectual property audit enables you to inventorize your IP assets, avoid the violation of others' rights, clarify ownership issues, identify any threats to the company's bottom line.
Sounds great for strategizing business operations. Let's push ahead with the idea.
Okay, so I hope this framework and the earlier two tools, that is a patentability tool and IP identification tool, they will be useful to you. With this, we come to the end of this session on IP audit framework. See you in the next session, which is a very interesting and important module. It is on the public patent databases, where we will understand information about a free patent databases available. See you in the next session. Thank you.